Alright, so, I've been, I don't even know where to start. I've been diarying, journaling, sketching for a long time. I have multiple sketchbooks, multiple diaries, all shapes and sizes. And I came across this video because I was, I came across this book and I decided that um, I needed a way to kind of document or go through this book, and it utilizes a lot of different forms of journaling, which is like sketching, art diaries, journaling, things like that. And in the past, I've used things like a bullet journal to do my journaling, or writings and sketches. But I didn't like the spiral bound thing. I would always tear pages out of it. So for a long time I've been using these campus notebooks that are B5 size, which I don't know how I feel about like the B size papers, but they're good in my opinion. I like the size a lot, but it's just a downside because when you were like printing stuff, you print stuff in A sizes, so printing in B sizes is just like not common. I mean, you can get like paper and you can get whole bunches, but just in America, like A size is super common. So the size is nice, but ultimately it's just hard getting or like adjusting to the size of B5 paper. But I've been using this for a long time, and I started doing my morning journaling, morning pages in the this, but I don't really have a way to store it, so the papers just kind of sit loose. And the same thing can be said for like all of my sketch paper and drawings and things like that. And it just adds up to like pieces of giant stacks of paper laying around everywhere, and I can't really index a lot of this stuff or store it, or I just don't go back to it because it's just sitting in a pile of paper. So I came across this video.
Room for half letter size paper and maybe some pens, and then the top surface, the top of the lid.
So this guy was going over like all of the ways that he journaled and throughout the years. So you can see
all the way back to before the new millennium. So in the 1990s, maybe I started journaling.
right. So okay, so he just said he's been journaling since the 1990s, and he's like me. You know, I've gone through all of these different types of notebooks, and none of them have really stuck, and then it just becomes like a ton of like random notebooks laying around everywhere, and then it's just hard to like store them all because like some of them are small, some of them are big. So it just becomes a pain in the butt. And then the other thing that like he goes over is that there's like pages that he may like to cut out and like stores, things like that. And then he goes into this design concept of what eventually is this handy desk. And this handy desk is basically, he's saying that he wants the paper to be in this handy desk, and for all of his storage and document indexing and archival needs, he's going to use a binder to store them in later on, like this, just using a binder. So when I saw him with his initial designs, I immediately was like, oh, I have a box like that. So I went and dug through my collection of unused cigar boxes. You can get these for free from smoke shops if you ask them if they have any smoke boxes. They usually throw them away, to be honest, so they'll give them to you for free if you just tell them like you're an artist, or tell them you're making cigar box guitars. Cigar box guitars have become expensive to make, so I don't have any plans to make them, but I have a whole bunch of cigar boxes now. And this, funnily enough, fit half-size paper perfect. So when I saw his handy desk design, I knew that I didn't want to like carry around this entire box and clasp. Like, it only needed to be half this size, and I didn't want it to be something that I had to flip open and close. So I really liked this handy desk design. So what I did was I took this box and then I cut the edges here, to open it up. So this bottom piece is the box, and then I just cut out the side, and for the top lid I have wood pieces like this. They're just like arts and craft wood pieces, and I just stack them. They were like I just got lucky. Everything was the perfect size, and this is what I mean about A5 paper compared to B5 paper, is that things just seem to fit with A size paper. Okay, things just are made to the size of A5 dimensions, A4 dimensions, things like that. So it just works out. So I just stack these and then cut them, and then I did like a second layer that was like, so if it was like this and this, then I put one in the middle on top of it so that it reinforced where the crack could be. And then I just super glued them all together, and that made a very durable top or bottom. That was one thing that I think I messed up on, is that I think it probably should have been like this. I think it's upside down, actually. It's made for like a left-handed person. Or this could be considered the front, I guess. So it's just a small thing. And then on the inside of this here, what I did, I printed out sheets of paper. Because initially what my idea was that I was going to cover the handy desk with an old magazine printout, but ultimately the aspect ratio, dimensions, whatever, it doesn't fit. So I'd have to like cut off an edge of it, and ultimately I didn't think that looked good. So the next thought that I had was a pretty simple one, which was a death note. But I didn't want a plain back black, so I printed out my favorite illustration for it, and that kind of matched like the black aesthetic in the background, so that's why I went with this this illustration. And then with the scrap paper, I glued it to the bottom here so that it was smooth, and then I laminated it with some packaging tape. Okay, And the reason that I did that was because when I was putting paper in, you guys hear that? It's just really scratchy. And even when I hit it with some spray paint on the inside, after sanding it, it didn't completely cover, or fill in the grain. So ultimately, I said, I can't have that scratchiness. And I laid down one of these and glued it in to keep it smooth. So everything slides in real nice and easy. Okay. The next little thing that I did was, it actually probably holds like way too much paper than I need, but I'm thinking in the future is that it's probably going to be like a whole bunch of different types of paper. Right now I don't have any lined A5 paper, which I ordered from Amazon, so that will be coming in. But writing on these paper, the blank printer paper that I just cut in half, was a little bit hard because there's no lines, so it's a little bit difficult for me to write out my journaling in computer paper without the lines, and it took too much brain power for me to keep it straight, and it didn't even come out straight in the end. So especially when I write in cursive, so my OCD kicked in, and I just couldn't handle the issues there. So I ordered a bunch of A5 notebooks, and that is in part because of reading the Artist's Way book, which has a whole bunch of stuff to do, and I'm treating making an A5 notebook as one of my like art creativity tasks for the week. I figure it's like a really good start to this whole Artist's Way journey, is to make something that I want to use and write with on a daily basis. So that's why I went with making, or like looking into journaling, making journals or improving on it, because I really haven't kept up with like the journal scene in a long time. I basically just write like gratitude and small journal entries in this format, and then once I got into this Artist's Way book last week, I started heavily using these more. But it's just like in this video where he speaks about the archival nature, and that's why I wasn't using a bound book either, is because I just didn't want my journaling and my sketching and like all of these things to be in different sizes and different notebooks, and for me to have to keep track of all of these journals and notebooks to carry around. I'd like it to be simplistic if possible. So another idea that I have with this last remaining one is that I was thinking that so this is not an iPad mini, it's like let's see, what year was this one? I don't know what year it is, but A1673, it's probably like, I don't know, 2011 or something. It's old, maybe newer than that, but anyways, I was thinking that you see where I'm going with this. You got these magnetic spots on this thing. See, you can find all these magnetic spots, and they're all at the edge here. I think there's, see, there's none on the inside of it. So if I get an iPad mini, reminder, this is not an iPad mini, this is like an old iPad, but basically the iPad mini dimensions are very close to it, so I was thinking that eventually I could save up to get an iPad mini. And it would basically be like an iPad mini handy desk where you could store all the paper inside here and use the iPad mini as the top, and it'd be magnetic, so you could just leave this entire thing enclosed, keep all your paper in here, and you're good to go. And the last thing is too, if you guys are gonna look to make your own handy desk, here's the brand. It's called Deadwood Tobacco Company, Fat Bottom Betty. I don't know much about like cigars or anything like that, so I don't know what size to ask them for, but if I were you, just take in a blank sheet of A5 paper and look for a box that'll fit. That way, you can just get the right one and not have to take a whole bunch home, unless you like cigar boxes, because I personally enjoy them. You can use them for multiple use of purposes. Like, look how nice this wood box is. Like, on Amazon, if you wanted to buy one of these boxes, you'd probably be paying like $10 or something stupid. But like, it holds all my paints, and I have, multiple kind of different boxes. I'm telling you guys, if you guys like boxes, you're missing out on cigar boxes. Check this out. And then I just put like felt stuff so it doesn't like destroy itself when it collapses like that, but it's got a felt bottom. That's like, this is it's a nice box, and it's perfect for like pencils, paints, anything really. And it's like the same thing, a really nice box. Felt bottom, like crazy. And if you go to the smoke shops, free. So keep your eye out. If you like boxes. But that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show you guys the Death Note handy desk, which is, again, all free and cheap. I mean, technically free, because I bought those wood pieces a long time ago, just like a bulk amount of those, so I've had those forever. And then it's just paper, just printed it. And then the last thing is for this front end, my logic was very simple on this. If I print paper and then glue it to the front, it's probably gonna warp, it's probably gonna have issues, and I needed a way to like seal it, and I didn't want to use tape. I just felt like doing the lamination with packaging tape was a little too tacky, but also it just has a lot of room for error. Like, you can mess up your tape job very easily. I'm pretty decent at it these days because I do it so often, but like, if you guys can notice on the back here, there's all these ripples, and I don't want any of those ripples on the front. Usually I'm pretty good about getting no ripples on the front, but you can still see the lines of where it overlaps, and I just didn't want that. So what I did was I used wipe on poly, which is, it's a urethane, like very thin urethane plastic sealer that people use to either put on desks, other wood surfaces like guitars, furniture, stuff like that. But my logic was pretty simple. This is pretty much wood, if you think about it. You know, paper is cotton, wood, whatever, fiber, and it would soak up the wipe on poly, in my assumption. So I figured, why not? And the crazy thing is that like I poured a bunch into the middle, and I used an old brush to spread it out, and it still has the texture, feeling, and look of paper, but it's like sealed. It's kind of crazy. So I think it's not like a more durable option would probably be Mod Podge. I don't think this is necessarily that durable, because water spilling on this just soaks into it. It doesn't warp it, but it soaks in. Like it's not waterproof, so you can't just push water off. It soaks in. So that's one thing to consider. But other than that, it's worked really nice. And then the other thing about this one is that I can fit a pencil in here. My pens, unfortunately, don't fit, except for like certain ones that I don't really enjoy writing with. And I have been moving away from pencils recently anyways, so I don't know how much I'm going to use that option. The other thing is, papers fall out super easy on this. So one thing I'm planning on doing is making some sort of cover for it, maybe, or I'm not sure really of the best way to like lock these papers in. But I was thinking that even like if I screwed a piece of wood here so that I could turn the piece of wood, and then it would just, you know, hold the paper in. We'll see. But for now, it's been pretty cool, but I haven't used it that much because I've been mostly continuing to journal in my Koyuko, what is this, B5 paper. But I just wanted to update, and then next video I'll probably be showing off the A5 stuff that I got in to make my A5 binder. And I just got inspired by stuff on Pinterest and other social media outlets. Just wanted to make something cool that I think is cool, that I want to use, or like, I feel like when the tools are attractive to you, then you like have the desire to use them, and you feel a connection to them, and you just think it's more fun to use something that's aesthetically appealing to you, or something that you've made or created on your own. Like, it just feels cool. Like, you're not gonna find anyone in the world with a Death Note handy desk. Like, this is the only Death Note handy desk that exists right now. So it just makes me think, like, I don't know, just I gravitate towards wanting to have it in my possession, and wanting to hold it and use it, and know that I made it. So just, it's to my ideal specs, you know? You can buy something online, and there's like small things that may irritate you about it. So it's just kind of interesting to think about in that sense, is that the tools that you use shouldn't dictate how good or bad your art is, but they can dictate how much you want to do art, you know? Like, if you think like a specific pen or pencil is attractive and cool, then you're gonna go for that, and you're gonna want to write with it, and you're gonna want to use it on your day-to-day basis, and that just means more production, more productivity. So I'm not someone that believes in like you should have a ton of materialistic goods, but I definitely believe in allowing yourself to be attracted to certain things and then utilize them in your day-to-day basis, or have them as inspiration laying around. Like, I print out as much art as I can to just put around places so that I'm always visually taking in things I'm inspired by or interested in. And like, this kind of stuff doesn't cost you anything. You know, you can print out this stuff and put it up in your room. You don't have to pay for posters necessarily. You know, you can just print it on your own. Go to Kinko's if you don't have a printer. You know, it's not like super expensive, but that's like a large part of what I enjoy doing. It's like anything that I'm currently interested in, I'll print, and then I'll make like a collage on my wall. So recently I've just been really into older, well, not recently, I haven't left 2009 era, maybe 2008. Like, everything after that is not super interesting to me. A lot of the stuff that I use, or a lot of the content that I consume, is older. So in that sense, it's just trying to continue to give myself the vibe that I enjoy around myself in my creative space, so that what I end up creating, hopefully continues to keep that vibe. Because obviously, like, the retro art, or like style, or just everything in general is kind of coming back. And like, wherever you look right now, the way people are dressing, the music that they're listening to, things like that, a lot of it's coming full circle. So for me, it's about trying to create things and make stuff work. And like, this desk isn't even a desk. This is a what do they call those? The easels for painting. But it was like too big. I should have bought a smaller easel, but it was too big, so I just turned it into a desk. You know, like, and then this, you want to buy a riser or something like that. This is, I don't know, what do they charge? $30 on Amazon. I made this out of wood and it's not stuck. I can move it, so it goes anywhere that I want. The same thing for this. It's just stacked on top of things, and then that holds up my monitor or my TV. So everything is just kind of like, I care about aesthetics a lot, but I also care about not spending money, because I currently am jobless. I'm working towards like goals in my life, but I don't currently have an income. So buying stuff is like, oh, you really have to make some hard decisions on that kind of stuff. You can't be overspending. And like, a lot of the art supplies that I have, this was like given to me. I didn't buy a lot of these pens. They're just, people know, friends, family, they know that I'm into art. So, you know, I'm fortunate enough to where people look out for me and they're like, oh hey, or like, for Christmas or my birthday, I will get art supplies. That is my gift, you know, and that's what I enjoy getting. And that's kind of why I like to watch Joe Van Cleve, is because he is very interested in so many cool different art supplies and coming up with his own little tools that work for him and his methods. And I think that's why I gravitated towards his videos and why I decided to make a handy desk, is because I aligned 100% with his train of thoughts and the way that he went about his business, you know, and his mindset on things. Um, we have a lot of interests in common. Obviously, I'm a little younger and into anime, but the same concept of journaling and the struggle with having multiple sketchbooks and things like that. See, I used to run these really big black books, and this was just like kind of all the rage when you were in high school, you know? You would carry around a black book, and but see, it just becomes like sketches and stuff, and then like half of the pages become empty, and then maybe some of the pages are like good stuff. Like this was, I was trying to come up with a video game, I guess. It's probably 2006 or something like that. But anyways, now I have to keep this book and several of them, and you know, a lot of the pages are worthless. Like, yeah, you know. So it's just his concept of taking a something like this and not having to carry the rest, like the first 100 pages. Like, you don't need to carry this. You just need, you know, the last pages that are empty, and then index this somewhere. And you can either throw away the pages that were bad or keep the pages that were good, and then maybe have them indexed in a sort of way that works for you. And I think that's what spoke to me about the handy desk and going for this attempt. Though the one thing that I'm not sure of is if I'm going to be using the handy desk. I know that I'm probably going to prefer A5, but I just don't know how often I'll use the handy desk because I bought a binder as well. So we'll see what happens.